Views and opinions of any of the guests of After Hours AM are not necessarily the views and opinions of After Hours AM, its hosts, its staff, or any of its affiliates.
Welcome to the After Hours program.
Are you ready?
It's alive! It's alive! It's alive!
Now broadcasting live from the After Hours AM studio, Joel Sturgis and Eric Olson.
Can't shake this terror from my head tonight. Alone and forsaken, I bleed. A twisted vision, a tired mind, betrayed, a victim of shame. R.I.P.
Good evening, everybody, and welcome to this edition of After Hours AM.
A twisted vision of hell.
You know, we could stop that right there. What the heck is going on? You know what? It never fails, Eric. I'm Joel Sturgis, by the way, your host, along with Mr. Eric Olson. It never fails. The last broadcast of the year, there's always a gremlin.
Well, the gremlin must act before the year goes.
You know,
away.
like my
It's the
board.
aging.
Yeah, well, exactly. My board has been rock solid all year, right? I mean, had no trouble. All of a sudden, I queue up to go in and go, hey, welcome to After Hours AM. And what do I have coming up on the horizon? Our commercial break, our first commercial break, already wants to load and play. I'm like, are you kidding me? Now you're going to do this? Now you're going to do this very end of the year? I see how you are, gremlin. I see. You just want to kick me one more time, don't you? But anyhow, it is the last broadcast, man, of 2015.
It's unbelievable.
What the
Time
heck?
flies.
I know.
Every year, every month, every week, faster than the one before.
I was just about to say, did this year seem really quick to you?
Very, very quick. Although, I got to tell you something. Over the last few years, because I am, the years accumulate, and you got to start paying attention to these things. I have really tried hard, especially over the last, I'd say, 2 years, 3 years, to try to really focus on and live every day. Don't look too far ahead.
Gotcha.
Don't allow, a holiday creep where you're thinking
Yeah.
about the next holiday. You
Yeah.
know, I go into Walmart to pick up some toiletries and whatnot, just all the usual stuff you got to pick up, and it's all there and it's cheap. And what do I see? This was yesterday, so the 29th of December. What do I see in Walmart?
What do you see?
Valentine.
Already, Valentine's. That's ridiculous. Let's just enjoy the new year first. And then we can
Exactly.
talk about Valentine's. Come on, man. You know what? Thank God, thank God the Christmas music is gone. Thank God the Christmas tree is down. I'm happy because, quite honestly, it kind of, when it starts in October, it starts to wear out its welcome Christmas. It doesn't have that same feel to it anymore.
Well, we try hard. We don't really engage in any of the actual overt Christmas activity
Yeah.
until that weekend after Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
So for us, it really is about exactly a month. However, I have to admit, we do kind of partake, and, it's kind of an excuse, to prolong the season. We do partake of the 12 days of Christmas.
Do
So
you
that-
now?
That leads us
Yeah,
into
okay,
that,
okay.
that end of that first week of January. We don't take any. We don't even think about taking
Hopefully you're not
anything down.
Hopefully you're not buying anything that is on the list, because I heard recently if you were to get all the things included in the song, it'd be $37,000. Is what you
Oh,
have
at
to shell
least.
out.
I mean, where are you gonna find these freaking lords of leaping? man?
Yes, exactly.
What,
I mean,
slavery? Are you buying human
yeah,
beings?
well, it depends on where you go. You might be
You'd
able to
have
get a
to pay
deal.
more than $37,000.
I would hope so.
Maids of milking? They don't come cheap.
No, those are still expensive. I don't care where you go.
And 5 gold rings, man.
Yeah,
you know.
5 of them. 5, not 1, 2, 3, 4, but 5 gold rings. No, I like the Christmas season. I really do, but I equally like it when it goes. You know,
I understand. You know, you've done it. You've accomplished it. Like I said, lately I've been doing a little better job just within myself of kind of hanging on to where I am and trying to fully appreciate every day, because I'm telling you, it's so easy to start looking farther and farther ahead. And when you start looking ahead kind of by the quarter, like, you know, a lot of businesses have to do, most businesses have to do, certainly retail, I think they have to think ahead 2 quarters, right?
Yep.
I mean, you're never in the moment. You never live life. All you're ever doing is looking ahead. and
Yep.
planning.
You don't enjoy the moment. You don't just stop and smell the roses. You're always looking for that next thing.
So I'm trying to do that, man.
I can tell that you're very zen tonight. Listen to you.
I'm Zenish.
You're very
I'm
zen.
Zen.
You're almost to the point of going in the corner. I mean, come on. I
There's
props
something to be
to
said
you.
for that as well.
Props to you for doing that. But kind of getting to the newest. I was going through the news feed today, and one of them jumped out at me, mainly because you're from Ohio, and that's why it jumped out at me. Ohio man arrested after posting drunk selfie video.
Boy, people are always talking about all the dumbasses in Florida.
Yeah, well,
We got plenty right here in Ohio.
We got lots where I'm from too, so you're not alone. Ohio man. Authorities in Ohio said he arrested a man after he posted Facebook video of himself drinking alcohol behind the wheel of a car. Wow. Evidently, it's a 2-minute video showing this guy, and it turns out that Franklin County Sheriff's Office, they cited and arrested Dustin Ritters, 28, and they pulled him right over. One of the sheriffs saw this on Facebook and tracked the car down while he was still actively drinking and driving. And they got him.
Wow. Well, I'm telling you, it over and over and over and over and over and over and over. How many times have we talked about this? People seem to think that social media somehow exists in a magical vacuum.
They do. They really do.
And that no one can see it. And there are no consequences that can ever come.
No, nothing bad
from
will ever happen.
social media.
Exactly. Well, even employers are starting to look at social media for applicants, seeing what your conduct is like on there.
Obviously. And what are your thoughts? What kind
Yeah.
of topics come to your mind? What kind of,
Yes.
how do you refer to your fellow human beings? There's a lot you can pick up with only a handful of social media posts.
Well,
It's actually quite revealing.
What do you think about this whole selfie craze?
I think it's absurd.
Dumb.
I think what it is narcissism writ across the entire planet.
Not writ. Oh, no. I mean, just joking. All joking aside, I think it's just dumb. I mean, look at the people that have actually died taking a selfie.
It happens, unfortunately.
I mean, the guy
quite
that
often.
the guy
I
that
saw
got
a list.
Yes, there is a list, and they should be on the Darwin Awards. Is what they should be. I mean, for dumb people dying in dumb ways. Come on, who's going to take a selfie with a rattlesnake? I mean, what?
Seriously dumb person.
Well, that guy did. Remember that? It was 2015, of course. One of the stories is the guy says, "Hey, Ma, look at me," and he took a selfie while he was with a rattlesnake. He got bit and he died. I mean, just
It's not funny, but it's pretty
it's hilarious.
people are so dumb. Yeah, and people who may not otherwise be dumb seem to be particularly dumb in the presence of social media. So what is it about it? Is it there's something that they think that device, whether it's the phone, typically we're talking about a phone,
Yeah.
Is it something about that device that makes them feel invincible?
You know,
That somehow protects them? Like
Yeah.
it's a talisman?
Yeah, it's like a talisman that wards off dumbassism. No, they get dumb. They get dumb when they get the selfie going. I've seen it more than once. It's just crazy. That selfie stick thing that they have now, or they call it a self-portrait stick, where you could take a selfie. Come on, people. Enough
kids have
with the selfies.
My kids have them.
Yeah. I've seen grown adults walking around these stupid sticks. It's like, are you kidding me? You're 45 years old. Put the stick away. All right? Leave it to the kids.
It's interesting to see that there are environments now that are banning selfies. Thank God.
Yeah, because, how many times you've been somewhere and someone takes a selfie and you get flashed in the face because the idiot's taking a selfie.
Well, and when you're in an environment that requires attention, it can be extremely dangerous.
Yeah, wasn't that one conductor that was the Amtrak guy? Wasn't he taking selfies when he crashed?
Well, he may have been.
You
I vaguely recall that, but yeah, it's very, very strange, and it shows something about the human mind that somehow, some way, that life or physics, the way things work, are perceived to be somehow different when one is engaged in certain actions. And again, I don't know if it's the phone on some level or whatever device you're using is perceived to be some sort of protective talisman against disaster. But I assure you, my friends, it is not.
Well, that's funny you bring that up because there's another headline that says, man falls through ice attempting to do a selfie. Massachusetts man. Firefighters discovered a man trying to do selfies on thin ice in Massachusetts. Did not end well for him. He went right through the ice while attempting to show everybody he was brave enough to go on the thin ice. You, my friend, are an idiot. All right?
What about the guy, this was this year too, the guy who goes diving into a canal, and there was all kinds of stuff in the canal and boats going by, and drowns. I think he hit his head on something in the water because he literally dove in after his cell phone.
Isn't that crazy?
Get another phone.
Exactly. That's why they have insurance, man. That's why they have cell phone insurance. You dump it, or oh my God, you're out the money. Oh, my God. God help us. I don't know, man. Mass stupidity has been one of the hallmarks of 2015 as well. Because the selfie really seemed to have taken off during 2015 in a big way.
It just has become so universal.
Yeah.
It's everywhere. And you have entire formats now. You have platforms that are predicated, that are built around the selfie. Where would Snapchat be without the selfie? Nowhere. Wouldn't exist.
No, you're absolutely correct. Absolutely correct. It's just craziness. It's lunacy. And then the people that do the selfies, they expect us all to be proud for some reason. Their selfie.
Whoa,
dude, you took a picture
that's
of yourself.
you.
Yeah,
Yay!
Yeah. Like, whoa, man. You mean you did that? You're the guy that did that picture
by yourself?
By yourself? How does that work?
To yourself?
Yeah. Is that
Good God,
are you a magic man? How did you make that happen? No, it just then they get all kind of bent off shape, and you're like, yeah, so you did a selfie. Okay.
Do you think that as we progress, as time marches on, and it becomes becomes less and less of a novelty to have selfies, do you think that people will back off? Is this a cyclical thing? Is this because it's
I sure hope it's a fad.
Relatively new? Is that why, or is there some other more sinister underlying reason and it's not going to go away?
Mind control. It's mind control is what it is. No, I think what will happen is as the bloom comes off the rose, as it were, of the selfie, maybe, just maybe, people will get back to normal. As it kind of gets to be, it's kind of like that cool thing that you love, and then you realize everyone else likes it too, and it's no longer cool. You know what I mean? You know what I'm talking about. Like,
Sure, of course.
Like the closet zombie fan that were all zombie fans until The Walking Dead came out, and they're like, screw this, I went mainstream, we're done. The same thing should happen to selfies, but it hasn't. But I guess I don't have too much hope in humanity because we're kind of dumb. We really are, and we latch onto these dumb fads, you know, and then it makes us all look just a little dumber, and that's the bad part.
So is the underlying appeal of it, is it literally the narcissism, just seeing yourself, you know, all the time or as often as possible?
I think it's to show off. Look where I was.
Or that's the other alternative.
Yeah,
or is it
I mean-
is it more like to document? It's almost like a document of your life.
Well, yeah. Have you ever seen a good-looking selfie? Have you ever seen one where you're like, "Wow, that's a really good picture"? No, I never have. They always look like I'm always looking up someone's nose when I see a selfie.
Well, the ones that get me and the ones that I suppose bother me in a sense the most are the so obviously posed ones.
Oh yeah,
And it's certainly not just women or girls, no question about it, but it's particularly noticeable with women or girls who gets out of bed in the morning full makeup. Where does the full makeup and these pouty poses, the duck lips,
oh yeah,
all
yeah,
this stuff?
Yeah.
Where does this come from?
Well, I've heard a few theories on the duck lips. I can't say it on the show, but it comes from another industry that starts with a P. Is that they were telling me one time, and I don't know. It was a filmmaker that told me that. You know where that duck lip comes from, don't you? No, enlighten me. Well, adult movies.
Well, yeah. I mean, it's
What?
supposed to be a fetching
Yeah.
kind of flattering pose.
Well,
I
it's not
guess.
though. I want to say quack quack. Put up my
Well-
bill, man. You know. But as far as I know what you're saying, because at least once a week I get hit with at least 4 or 5 of these fictitious profiles of these beautiful model-like women on Facebook. Be my friend, but I only have one other friend. You know, these suspicious. You get them, I'm sure, don't you?
Oh, yeah.
You know, and it's always these. Yeah, that's not
As
you.
a public figure.
Oh yeah, yeah. And it's like, yeah, that's not you. No, that's not you. You ripped that off.
Or
from
if
somewhere.
it's you, it's such a stylized version of you that it's still not you.
No, it's still
See what
not
I'm
you.
saying?
It's just it's. I think maybe
With the posing and the makeup, you know, it's the difference between TV Kim Kardashian and the real Kim Kardashian.
have you ever seen the real Kim Kardashian? I never have.
Yeah, she's just another freaking woman. You
That's
know?
it.
She's got a big butt, big hips. She's short.
Yeah,
You know, she's pretty enough, but she's no.
She's
you know,
average. You mean outside the confines of television, she'd be considered an average lady.
Well, not much more than above average, anyway. You know
You
what I
know,
mean? She's
exactly.
variable like anyone else.
Exactly. We all have our
She's
good
just
days,
a
our bad
person.
days. You know.
She's just a person.
That's all. That's it, man. That's it. Do you got any big plans now for the New Year's Eve? I know that you do actively. You're a musician, so I'm sure you have a gig coming New Year's
no,
Eve. No,
we avoid those.
you do.
Since this band, The Props, and by the way, go check out our band. You can listen to videos or you can watch videos, listen to recordings. It's all just cover stuff. We're just a bar band, but we have a really good time. It's fun. Go check out thepropsband.com, and we're here in the greater Cleveland area. So we started our career as The Props with a New Year's Eve benefit performance, which I can't even believe these words are coming out of my mouth, 4 years ago. So
Really?
we've been together
Wow.
for 4 years. Yeah, with
Wow.
really only
Well, who are the props? Who are-
minor changes. Well, the 3 singers are my daughter Kristen, my oldest daughter Kristen, my wife Dawn, me. I'm the male singer. I am also one of the 2 guitar players. We have Keith, who's kind of our lead, although we switch off back and forth. But he's a real guitar player. He teaches guitar. He can play jazz.
So you got your anchor guitar player is what you're saying. The guy
Yeah,
that can
he's a
look it
real
out there.
guitar
Okay.
player. I am a rock and roll star guitar player.
Sure,
you know,
power
I can play what I
chord
can
G,
play,
baby.
but I don't know a whole lot else.
Yeah.
Beyond what I play. I kind of learn new things as I learn new songs. So Keith, and then we have Mike on keyboards, we have Chris on drums, and we have Chad on bass. So we are a 7-piece, which is a big problem when we're trying to shove ourselves into some tiny little bar stage. But we've learned to be compact. Anyway, so we started off 4 years ago with a New Year's Eve performance, and it was really fun, and it went really well. We raised a bunch of money for charity, so all that was great. People had to donate either money or food, and we did collect a lot, fair amount of both, and turned it in. We felt good and all that. But we realized, oh my God, it is such a production on New Year's, and it really kind of interferes. And like all the other cliches, you're out on amateur night, it's dangerous
Sure.
driving home.
Sure.
The
Yep.
crowd gets too crazy, perhaps, shall we say,
Yep.
because, the amateurs are drinking.
Well, sure they are. It's amateur hour, like you said. I mean, New Year's Eve, I don't do it anymore. I don't even go out. I stay inside. I'd rather just be home with the wife and enjoy some family time rather than, which I need more of, and enjoy some family time and not worry about having some drunk hit me.
Exactly. So, to answer your question, we have not played on New Year's Eve. We played around New Year's Eve, but we haven't played on New Year's Eve since that very first performance.
Interesting.
And tomorrow night, we're actually having a small-ish, I don't know what's going to turn out being, maybe, 15 people.
You're having a party,
maybe
aren't
not
ya?
that many. 10 to 15 people. I don't know. Who knows?
Hey,
Maybe
party at
branch
Eric's
out.
house. The beer
Here
is
at
free.
our house tomorrow night, keeping it low key and casual, but it'll be fun because of all the weird stuff we've had going on, just like you've had. We had family health stuff.
Oh, yeah.
Working maniacally. Now I don't work
Maniacally.
120-hour weeks like you do, but I work 60, 70-hour weeks.
Oh man,
anyway.
it gets to be long, and the reason why though I brought up your band is because there's a new report out there saying Guns N' Roses to reunite in 2016.
And yeah, I saw that, and they want $3 million a performance
Oh my lord, I didn't read that part yet.
per show.
Per show, $3 million. Okay, they're good, but they're not that good.
And yeah, they're really not. I mean, they were really good at the time at what they did.
Yeah, yeah.
And everyone still loves, Appetite for Destruction.
They
That's
can
a classic
still-
album, no doubt about it. But they didn't do a whole lot else other than that.
Well, they're not in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame,
I
and
don't think they're eligible yet, are they? Oh yeah, they are.
they would be eligible. I read this story. Guns
They
N'
are,
Roses reuniting Axl Rose / Bury the Hatchet, which is all great. Don't get me wrong.
It is.
But
That's fine.
okay, whatever. All right. Hey, glad you guys could kiss and make up. But here's the deal: $3 million a show. I can still go buy your CD out of the bin at Walmart for $5.
Exactly. Well, it really is what that shows is the unspoken aspect of that is well, yes, there has been this thing called Guns N' Roses performing on and off over the last 15 years.
But didn't Axl get all fat?
He got fat. He had some weird plastic surgery where he just looks odd.
Yeah, he does. I mean,
Not normal at all.
no, he became like a big slug, and he just kind of, was being weird.
Rolling around. Yeah, and I mean, he had this band. I'm sure they were perfectly good musicians, but it was none of the original members. And he
No.
was calling it Guns N' Roses. So if this is really a reconstruction, at minimum, you got to have Slash. to
Well,
call
you
it
gotta
Guns N'
have
Roses.
Slash.
Come
I mean-
on, man. He wrote basically all the music.
He was really their only, what some people say, their only genuine musician.
I think they all really
You know,
played. It's
well,
just,
no, but I mean, he
you know,
was the heart and soul of that
sure he was.
band. I mean,
Absolutely. Absolutely.
I think that if they do come out of retirement, like what they're saying, I don't think they're going to garner $3 million. I mean, you would never get enough ticket sales per show to do $3 million.
I don't know. People do still love Guns N' Roses.
Yeah,
It's a weird thing.
it
It's like
is.
they found this niche. They're kind of at this intersection between hard rock, so 80s kind of arena rock, hard rock, right?
Yep.
Metal.
Hair band. Yep. Hair metal.
Metal.
Kind of thing. Yep.
And even they're given some credibility by kind of the alternative punky side of things.
Yeah, I mean,
because they had an edge. They had kind of an edge. So they do draw from a much broader base than most rock bands do.
But
they're almost in the territory of an Aerosmith. But man, they haven't put out nearly the material that Aerosmith has.
I mean, they're no AC/DC. Let's just be honest.
And they're no AC/DC.
No. I mean, me personally, I don't know. I think I would never pay the money to go see them as a headliner. I mean, if they're opening somewhere, sure, I'll go see them. But would I pay whatever they're probably going to be asking, $100 and change to see them? Oh, hell no.
The last time I saw Guns N' Roses?
When?
Which I think was also the first time, if I think about it. I'll have to ponder that. But the last time was definitely, they opened for the Rolling Stones at the Los Angeles Coliseum in 1989.
Wow.
And this was at an absolute peak, time for Guns N' Roses. And they were held to be, wow, these guys are really up and coming.
Yeah.
They really may be an actual threat to the reign of the Rolling Stones. Well, in
1889.
Whoa, now I missed a century there. In 1989, so the Stones were already late 40s.
Yeah, they were already kind of
they'd been
dwindling.
around, man.
Yeah,
They'd been around, and so the bottom line was the Stones blew them away.
Oh,
Just
yeah.
blew them away. No comparison.
Yeah,
It was like
and they
little
still would.
leaguers against major leaguers.
And they still would. I mean,
And they still would.
and they
You're right.
still would. I mean,
Now they're in their 70s.
yeah, and they would still bring the house down way better than the Guns N' Roses could, in my own opinion. I know.
They're 50s.
Yes, exactly. But one more story here, quick, and I'm sure you've heard it before we move on to America's Most Haunted Headlines, then our year in review stuff, which was going to be really interesting, along with your predictions that you've been emailing me all day to talk about on air. Bill Cosby, man, charged.
Finally, after dozens. And think of that, what that means. Dozens of women
Yeah, finally.
have filed complaints.
Yeah,
one way or another.
He's facing several felony counts. He's dealing with some issues now. It wasn't like it happened yesterday, 14 years ago or so. This young lady was drugged by Bill Cosby, and
I think
allegedly,
it's 2004.
yeah, allegedly drugged by him. I do say allegedly because he has not gone through a trial by his peers
No,
yet.
he has not.
So
No.
allegedly he drugged her and had his way with her. How many women now have come out against Bill Cosby? Oh my gosh, the list is staggering, to be honest
It's like
with you.
40?
Yeah, I mean it's just
50? Think about it.
Think about
What
how
bizarre, emotional, psychological need or defect does he have that would cause him to undermine what would have been one of the absolute greatest careers in showbiz history.
Oh yeah.
Think
now,
about it. He's been around since the early 60s.
Yeah.
He's had TV show after TV show that were huge, huge hits. He had all those comedy albums. He's one of the great live, stand-up performing comedians of all time. And he has thrown all of this away with this behavior that apparently has continued until recently.
yeah, which is ridiculous and
Because
shocking.
he's old, man. Let's face it.
Well, yeah, he's old now, and everyone's come out of the closet. Oh, yeah, he did this to me. He did that to me. If this is true, if even half of the allegations are true against him, what a sick and twisted individual.
bizarre.
You know,
So-
and he did some horrible
bizarre.
things. There's nothing.
Why would he do it to himself?
Exactly, and
His
he
wife, his family.
Yes, why would he bring them down with him, drugging these poor women? My God, you know, if there is justice in this world, and if he is guilty, hopefully he does see prison time. Which, let's just be honest,
Hey, let's
he
face
will
it.
not. He will
won't.
never
But,
see.
I mean, if it's bad enough, if this is the first in a series of criminal charges, this is the first time he's been charged criminally.
Yep.
If this is the first, if more people come forward, more facts come forward, more evidence comes forward, you know, he could literally end up in jail. Who would have ever thought that?
Oh, I never would have. I used to love Bill Cosby. Remember when
So
he
did
was
I.
on? He was on Captain Kangaroo when I was a kid. All those wholesome shows. Come
I
on,
loved
the
his
Cosby Show, for crying out
Comedy
loud.
records in the 60s.
Oh yeah, you know,
Hilarious.
Bill Cosby, myself. I mean, all those things were great.
America's Dad.
Yeah. I mean, it's what's next? Bob Saget comes out that he did something. I mean, but then again,
Well, Bob Saget is a whole different.
yeah, he is. If you've heard his stuff,
Oh, my God,
you would
he's
wonder how he.
filthy.
Yes, how he landed that job. But
It is hilarious. You know, what a role reversal.
Oh, exactly. We got to get out of here, though. We got to pay some bills. We come back. America's most haunted headlines, your predictions, and 2015 year in review right after this. Hey everybody, this is Joel Sturgis, and did you know that After Hours AM and America's Most Haunted have a great new website out there? You're going to want to visit America's-most-haunted.com. There you can get all the new content from all the writers for America's Most Haunted, as well as the great haunted headlines everybody loves each and every week, as well as catch After Hours AM live right there, along with podcasts, past shows, and get to know your hosts, as well as contact us all in one stop. You're going to love it. You're not going to want to go anywhere else. So come to America's-most-haunted.com today.
Hi, Tom Bodette. If you can hear me, then you have an internet connection, which means you can do cool things online, like listen to streaming radio, obviously, or watch a video of a monkey washing a cat. Let your freak flag fly. Or you can book a room at a great price at Motel6.com. Isn't the internet wonderful? Everything you want right at your fingertips, and whoa, did not need to see that. I'm Tom Bodette for Motel 6, and we'll leave the light on for you.
Ranger Station, Ranger speaking.
Yeah, hi. I'd like to report a bear sighting.
Location.
My backyard.
Oh, your backyard. Try telling a bear that.
I did, and this bear talked back.
Talking bear, that's rich.
No, wait, it was Smokey Bear.
Smokey. Why didn't you say so?
I did say so.
Continue.
I was burning yard waste.
No, boy.
He told me to burn legally and responsibly, and to remember that if it's too hot to touch, it's too hot to leave.
And as always, he's right. You know, 9 out of 10 wildfires are caused by humans. That means 9 out of 10 wildfires can be prevented.
Yeah, I know that now.
Thanks to me.
Actually, thanks to Smokey.
As usual, the talking bear gets all the credit. Get your Smokey on. Always burn responsibly and contact your local fire department for open burning regulations. Because 9 out of 10 wildfires can be prevented. Brought to you by Smokey Bear, the U.S. Forest Service, your state forester, and the Ad Council. Learn more at SmokeyBear.com. Only you can prevent wildfires.
I'm a mom. And just like millions of other women, that's why I own guns. We're responsible, we're law-abiding, and we're everything that makes America strong. Every day we're willing to use a firearm to defend our families. But the media will never tell those stories. If a mom puts a gun to the face of a home-invading thug and makes him run for his life, the story gets buried. But if she's unarmed and murdered, the cameras will be at the scene before the police. It's time for moms like me to speak out. We are the majority. We demand the freedom to defend our families. And we challenge the media to tell the truth about our rights. I'm the National Rifle Association of America, and I'm freedom's safest place.
Do you have a question for our guest tonight? Don't feel like calling the show? Not a problem. Email those questions to afterhoursam@gmail.com. Again, that's afterhoursam@gmail.com.
Human sacrifice, dogs and cats living together, mass hysteria.
And welcome back to After Hours AM, guys. And guess what's up next? You're Haunted. America's Most Haunted Headlines with your host, Joel Sturgis and
Eric Olson.
Eric, man, it has been a big year for the America's Most Haunted Headlines, hasn't it?
It really, really has. We've had all kinds of wild activity. And, of course, you know, we cast our net rather widely in terms of what we call paranormal. It's a weird world is what
Everybody likes a wide net.
Well, I believe I'm going to have to think about that, but yeah, I think they do. All right, so if you would like to follow along, and of course, we encourage you to do so, go to Twitter, twitter.com, and go to the @AM Haunted account. That's the America's Most Haunted. And we, over the years, been at it now for, we joined July of 2012. 3.5 years. Holy cats.
Man,
hard to believe.
That's
Over
right.
that time, the America's Most Haunted Twitter account has become the go-to place for paranormal news, entertainment, and
It's all grown up.
Information.
Round of
Hey,
applause, man.
what's the best kind of zombie?
Oh, I don't know. Maybe a zombie tramp slave?
A zombie tramp, obviously.
That was my first guess. Yes.
It was a good guess.
No,
How'd you do
I
that?
know. That's because I'm over here, guys, at Twitter.
You're smart.
Well, don't let that word get out too loud.
But you are. You know what you really are?
You
are perspicacious.
Whoa, big words. Big words.
I'm a big word guy.
You kind of are, really, but that's all right. Still
Yes.
love you, man. Don't worry.
It just means smart.
Yes, in a really smart way.
It means knowledgeable.
Yes.
perspicacious. And
yes.
perceptive, of course.
Yeah, well, I try to be perceptive.
All right, so there is a comic book series called Zombie Tramp. And the new edition, special edition, is Zombie Tramp Saves XXXmas, meaning Christmas.
It looks like Zombie Tramp's had some work done.
Yeah, she has. She's cleaned up a bit. And that head she's holding, that's not the real Santa Claus.
Thank
so don't
God.
worry. She saves Christmas from a fake Santa Claus.
All right. Interesting.
Check it out. I like the artwork.
I'm looking at the artwork right now, and I'm thinking, wow, that artist has a real flair for the female anatomy.
And if you click over, of course, you get the various rated versions. There's the PG version, which I use, and then there's R, and then there's really kind of X. Let's face it.
But at least there's no triple X.
No,
That'd
no
get
tri-
real weird. That'd get weird.
That,
quick.
that would be. I mean, what would that involve? I don't know.
I don't know. I don't even want to go there. to be
Nasal
honest.
sex,
Yeah,
maybe?
no, I'm good. Ew, you just gave me a whole visual I did not need.
Yeah.
Ugh.
People do weird things.
They do. Have you ever noticed that? We're just talking about that.
I am so naive and normal. You know what I mean?
Are you
It's
a vanilla kind of
what?
guy?
People do what?
Well,
Why? Why would you do that? It's like Bill Cosby drugging women. Why on earth would you do that, Bill?
while they're drooling on themselves. Come here,
God,
baby.
Dumbass. All right. One of the year-end lists that is hilarious is the Craigslist Best of 2015. And leading the list is this is right up your alley, is a snowblower.
I'm looking at the snow machine, the snowmobile.
And on the listing, no mention whatsoever is made of the skeleton that is
I see it. It's clearly
contained right beneath the seat of this
Why
thing.
is it looks like it's a midget skeleton.
It's kind of squished down there together.
It is, and not to make fun of me little people, but my gosh,
It looks like a little person.
It does look like a little person,
Or
a little
perhaps a
person,
child.
Oh, not a child. Oh,
Well, I hope not. It's not
I sure
real.
hope.
I don't
Oh, gosh, I'd like to buy it and find out.
I don't think it's real, but nonetheless, it's so odd. There's all these pictures of the thing, and just a regular old Craigslist listing.
Sure.
Not one mention is made of this skeleton.
I know it's so conspicuously sitting there,
and people picked up on that, and it's become known as skeleton snowblower, and that's the hashtag. And you go,
wow,
skeleton snowblower.
You guys got to go check this out. This is ridiculous. I mean, why the seller would not at least put in, somewhere a really quick reference to the skeleton sitting there.
Incidentally, there's a skeleton.
Yeah. By the way, the former owner loved it so much that upon his death, he requested that he be put inside of this thing.
Oh, is that what it is?
So do not. Oh no, I'm making that up as I go.
I love that.
I'm making it up as I go. So
But anyway, that's on this best of Craigslist list, which is really funny because it's actually put together by Craigslist itself.
You find the creepiest people on Craigslist.
Craigslist is a microcosm, and it's not even all that micro. Do you realize 60 million people a month use Craigslist?
Wow.
Think about it.
Damn. Wow, that's a lot of people.
It is a boatload.
That I wish we got those kind of numbers over here.
I do too. Sorry, moving along from the
we only got 50 million. Come on.
Skeleton snowblower. All right, now check this out. Have you heard this story? Someone or ones, one or more individuals, are going around to various manger scenes throughout New Jersey, and they're stealing the baby Jesus.
Well, that's original. Is
that bizarre?
That is. Well, did you ever do that as a kid?
No, I've never stolen a baby Jesus.
You never. Me neither, because my mother would kill me if I did, because I'm a good Lutheran boy.
And because it's Jesus.
Well, it is Jesus. You don't want to mess around the big J. All right,
No.
he
Or
will
even the
get
little
you.
J.
Well, that's true. They will get you. He will. He knows. But yeah, I remember when I was a kid, we had a quite elaborate in front of our church. Had a quite elaborate a scene of that scene, the nativity scene, and baby Jesus was replaced with a Bud Light can.
Well, yes, I have heard of whimsical kinds of replacements and whatnot, but this is a fairly significant number. Like at least 5 have been stolen.
Wow, that's a lot of baby Jesuses on the run,
and it's probably more.
More than likely, these are just the ones we know about.
Exactly.
Nationwide, it's probably epidemic.
Oh my God, baby Jesuses! Where are they going?
Where's that baby Jesus?
They're being collected in a pit. Or something.
Well, probably, more than likely. A big pit somewhere, just baby Jesuses.
This is such an important story that it was covered by the New York Times.
Wow, I guess it was a slow news day for them.
Maybe so. All righty then. Moving along, another New York Times story. Really visually amazing story. I really recommend everyone go check that out. It's kind of a picture story, a photographic essay on the growing population of Antarctica.
Yeah, it's no longer unpopulated.
No, and what's going on now is, despite these treaties which prevent mining and whatnot, there's all kinds of agreements to kind of keep it an international zone. What's really happening is various countries are basically making land grabs, and they're just kind of claiming.
Have they
it
not
quietly.
seen the movie The Thing? Come on.
Apparently they have not.
After I saw the movie The Thing with Kurt Russell, I'm never going to Antarctica. Screw that.
Exactly. And actually, my dad and my brother, my next brother, I'm the oldest, but the second brother, they have been on a cruise together to Antarctica.
Now, would you go?
The right time of year. I mean,
Yeah.
it's actually now because it's summer down there now.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know, man. I don't know if
I'd go and check it out. I guess there's all kinds of, fascinating wildlife and the ice is super spectacular.
I went to high school with a guy that got a job at one of those international things, those, basically,
Science,
yes,
basically
and
science.
and see, they'd leave during the winter, okay,
Right.
and he would be there. He was the maintenance man. It was him by himself, and he would be there. This guy was weird in high school anyway. You got to understand, this kind of guy rip fly wings off. I mean, this dude is weird, and he would be there all winter, or their winter by himself, maintaining this building. Okay, all he had to do was keep the heat running, electricity on, all those things. But it drove him insane.
How could it not?
It drove him literally nuts. Because then the next time I ran into him, this is years later, and he had been down there a couple seasons. I mean, he was just a weird dude, man. I mean, really, he had a real hard time with open spaces. He liked, it was just weird. But so that's another reason why Antarctica is not in my.
He had the opposite of claustrophobia.
Exactly. His name was Andy. Andy, heart goes out to you, but you're a weird dude. All right.
All right. So the highlight picture, and you got to click through to the Times site and see it in its full size and resolution. But a really astonishing picture captured of this Russian Orthodox church
in Antarctica. That just doesn't seem like that goes together.
It's bizarre, and it's just a really well framed and very colorful and strange and eerie kind of picture. There's a bird, looks like a seagull, I guess, of some sort, and a man, a silhouette in the image in the foreground. In the background is this church. It's really an amazing image. Go check that out. Very interesting story about what's going on down in Antarctica. Also, Mars. Oh my God, what an amazing place!
I know.
The images we've gotten now over the last couple of years, but just in the last year, look at this
beautiful.
selection. It looks very much like Earth.
It does, and I would not be surprised if there wasn't some Martians on there. Just saying.
Well, certainly the main image on the left, if you're looking at the Twitter feed, I mean, it looks absolutely like Earth.
It does. It looks like a desert portion of Earth, really. It has the dunes and it has the mountains in the background. I think it's quite beautiful, to be honest with you, and it's just too bad no one can live there.
No one can live there without a lot of help. Let's put it that way.
Yeah, you have to make your own environment.
You got to have your own atmosphere. But,
Yep.
The geology is amazing. It has all kinds of lessons to learn about the early solar system, the early Earth.
You ever ask yourself why are there all so many useless planets out there? I mean, what's the point of having it? What does it do? It does nothing. Just orbits the sun. Big deal.
I'm not sure there is a point.
Yeah, I mean, you ever say to yourself, okay, these planets are great and all, but what's the reason for them?
A lot of extra baggage in the universe.
You know what I mean? It just makes,
But of course, you realize that is a very human-centric worldview.
Yes. Well, very true. Because we
might go so far as to call it solipsism, but you didn't hear it from me.
Wow, you are really on point tonight with the words.
I'm on a roll.
You are
Solipsism,
on a
which
roll.
means you're not sure that anything else is real other than yourself.
Well, do you think? Now, I kind of heard this argument on another show the other day. Do you believe that the Earth or the moon landing was real, or do you think it was staged?
I don't think anything was staged, and I think people are ridiculous idiots.
That's starting to come around, about every few
now
years.
I saw it too. Now they're saying it about Mars.
Yep. It's all staged. It's all done.
No, it's not. You're wrong. Next. It's real. The moon landings were real. The Mars landings are real. Every other landing you've heard of
is real, folks. It's the real deal. It did not happen in Arizona. These are not pictures of Arizona. These are real. And if I had a nickel for every email I've gotten the last month about the fake landings, I could go buy a Big Mac. Okay.
And Stanley Kubrick had nothing to do with it.
No, he did not.
So, but that brings up absolutely, very interestingly, our next post moving down. They had really close flyby shots of the kind of the other main dwarf planet in the solar system besides Pluto, and that's Ceres. But Ceres looks really dumb and boring.
It does. It does. I mean, planet is not utilized enough as Uranus. Because
You know,
think of the jokes
I
you could
am
tell.
such a fan of Uranus.
Think of the jokes you could at least tell if they did something on that planet.
Well, the craft that just did all the flybys and took all those amazing pictures of Pluto is now moving out toward Uranus, and the rumors have it that they think they may spot Klingons
On Uranus.
circling Uranus.
You went
So,
there, didn't you? You
I
went
did.
junior high on me.
Oh,
Okay.
maybe even earlier, maybe even younger, because my, just barely turned 12 a couple of weeks ago. Your old son, when I said that, he just rolled.
No,
his eyes.
yeah, they're too sophisticated
Dad,
for
you
that
should-
now.
No.
Yeah, but you could still crack people up with one word. Right. Next
You're
time
right.
you're in a very important meeting, sit down in front of everybody, clear your throat, like you're gonna say something really philosophical, and just say, "Poop."
I thought you were going to say Uranus.
That works too.
And how about all these stupid science teachers who say Uranus? Yeah, you fool no one.
No, they're
science teacher.
Yeah, they're just trying to church it up. They don't want to go with Uranus.
Uranus.
It's always been Uranus. Always will be Uranus. Sorry, sometimes aliens come from Uranus.
I think you better flush Uranus.
That's right. No
All right,
more.
So we move down once again, and we mentioned this last week, the Twilight Zone Marathon, and that kicks off tomorrow night at 7.
You go. Are you gonna watch it?
I think I will try to record as much as the old DVR will hold.
There are people out there that email me, fans of the show. They are having a complete Twilight Zone marathon. They're gonna sit there and watch.
Are they going to the bathroom?
Hopefully they do, because quite honestly, we don't advocate that around these parks.
No, use your indoor plumbing.
Yeah. Don't be afraid to do so. But they're dedicated to sitting, and they plan to listen to our episode of the Twilight Zone about Rod Serling before it kicks off.
Well, we commend them for that.
We do. But guys, how many days is this? This is gonna be like a 2-day event.
It's at least 2 full days.
What are you gonna do in the meantime? I mean, you gotta eat, you gotta go to the bathroom, you gotta sleep. I learned that the hard way. You gotta sleep.
That's what DVRs are for.
That's right.
Catch as much as you reasonably can live. I get the live part. And that is something that's been lost with the DVR era. For all of the wonderful aspects of modern, and I mean right now, technology, the DVR and cable and whatnot, we really have lost the communal aspect of television.
Yeah, well, you know what, Eric? I don't even own a DVR.
That's peculiar.
To be honest with you, I don't even have one.
I don't know. Are you American?
Last time I looked, I am. But I don't even have a DVR. I just don't watch enough TV. Is my problem.
One of the problems is it's like email. You cannot feel obligated to watch it just because you saved it. Because if you do, then you'll lose your mind.
Yes,
I mean,
very true.
And you will never complete, you'll never watch everything you DVR unless you only DVR a couple things, I suppose. But, we have a number of shows that we DVR. That just picks them up automatically. And if I were to literally try to watch every episode of every show that I DVR, it's all I would ever do.
Well, see, now you cover the pop culture very heavy, though.
I do.
You know what I mean? Where you got to catch these episodes. Me, it's like, I'll catch a glimpse of it online, and that's good enough. But, I have been thinking about jumping into the whole DVR thing, but, they want you to go the TiVo route, and that's extra fee, and it's like, oh, Jesus.
Well, just get it from your cable provider for free.
Well, that's the thing. It does not get offered through my cable provider for free.
Your cable provider does not offer you a DVR?
You have to upgrade to the next package in order to get the DVR.
Well, the HD package?
Oh, what is it? Like the extra extended package where you got the useless channels, the 5,000 church channels, the 360 weather channels, and the 9,000 sports channels.
I believe with the plan we're on, we don't get everything. We get kind of the next tier down.
Yeah.
But I mean, I believe with our system, if you get the HD platform, if you get the HD channels, then you do get the DVR because it's the same device.
But
in order to get HD, you need a certain kind of box.
Well,
so they might as well
this
put
is true.
a DVR in the
Well,
box.
yeah, I already got the box. But anyhow, I don't own a DVR. One day I will, but not today.
All right,
but
then.
as far as the people watching the Twilight Zone, I salute you guys for wanting to do it live.
Absolutely.
Doing
Live is
organic.
good.
That's right. Sitting through the commercials, the whole thing, the way it's meant to be.
An interesting kind of sidelight or caveat to what I'm saying about, all of these options, all these individualized options, taking away the communal aspect of television. One, it's smallish, but one key thing that's adding it back in is live tweeting. What's
Yes.
the point of tweeting a DVR'd episode? No one cares.
That is true.
It's because you're watching it live that it means anything.
Well, that's
So
exactly
live
it.
tweeting is going a little ways to bringing back the communal element of television.
Well, good for them. Good for them, man. I miss those old days.
We live tweeters.
Oh, yeah. We love the live tweeter. Go ahead, Twitter me anytime.
All right, we are
Except for you, Bill
fast
Cosby.
coming up on the top of the hour. But in the meantime, there's so much to cover. So staying in space as we are, I found this fascinating. Through all this various info they've been gathering and the telescopes and all the cool stuff going on right now with astronomy, they've figured out that Earth is among the earliest 8% of all planets formed in the universe.
Interesting. So we're like grandpas.
We are old when it comes to planets. And many planets that will be, more or less Earth-like, that are kind of the Goldilocks zone they talk about, many, many, many of those, still a pretty high percentage of them, don't exist yet.
Interesting. I think somewhere, though, there are people like us out there. Not specifically like us, but higher intelligent beings somewhere out there. Has to be.
The odds are certainly in favor of it, but I don't know.
There has to. I don't want to think that we're...
Something doesn't... I'm not going to say I'm psychic, but I will say that I do have some elements of intuitiveness, okay?
I hate to think, though, Eric. Go ahead. I didn't mean to cut you off. Go ahead.
I was just going to say, when I really when I quiet my mind and try to kind of turn off my thoughts, and, it's almost just basically a form of meditation, but not hardcore, just relaxing and clearing my mind. That is often when my best thoughts, when my best intuitions, when a way forward, when I have a dilemma, comes to me. And a couple times I've sat and pondered, or not pondered, I should say, what's going on out there in the universe. And I've never really had a strong sense that there is intelligent life out there. Now, my brain, my intellect says, oh my God, there has to be. There's just too many planets.
Well,
too many stars.
I would shudder to think that, us selfie taking, dog poop picking up group of people are the smartest thing in the universe.
Uranus reciting.
Exactly.
That would be odd.
I hope that there's better things out there. I really would, because quite honestly, if there is, I want to go there.
There absolutely may well be. All I'm saying is I have never had that deep, deep sense within myself that there are other intelligent aliens. Now, I do have the sense that there are other sentient entities out there, but not talking about aliens. I'm talking about other planes. I'm talking about spiritual
dimensions.
planes.
Yes.
Dimensions, exactly. All right, one more before we get to the top. Take a look at this astonishing image of eel fishing by night in Japan.
Look at that.
Is that the craziest thing?
That is the craziest thing. Who
It
would have
looks like
thunk
they're
it?
on a solid surface.
It does. That's weird. That is odd. That looks really, really cool. Eel fishing. Who knew?
So the theory of it, for those of you who can't get to it, again, we're referencing the AM Haunted Twitter feed. For those of you who can't get to it, the picture is like a panorama, and you're seeing darkness, green lights scattered throughout what appears to be a solid surface, but it's not. It's water. It's a river. And the reason there are these lights is each of these individual little fishing boats, they just look basically like glorified canoes.
Yep.
Each of these fishing boats shine very, very, very bright lights directly into the water, and that draws the eels to them.
What do they do? Eat them, or what are they doing to those eels?
Yeah, they collect them up in their food. Yeah.
Wow, interesting. Just don't grab the electric ones. That might be a little shocking.
These are called. This is a different kind of eel. I forget. I'm not clicking through. But anyway, it's an amazing picture, and it's a very strange thing to do. Very interesting.
Well, it sounds like a fun night in Japan.
And look at Lauren Cohan.
That's right. I'm looking at that.
For those of you who get Shape magazine, which I think is about 98% women,
yes.
Shape magazine, she is the cover girl, and I'll tell you what, she's in good shape.
She's in great shape. But we got to run off the break, though. We got to get out of here. So. We got to go to break. But when we come back, year in review, 2015, how crazy it was, along with predictions, what we think's going to go down and what you think's going to go down right after this.
Fox News Radio, I'm Kathleen Maloney. An appearance in court for Bill Cosby, the comedian arraigned on a sex assault charge involving a former Temple University employee more than a decade ago.
Gloria Allred represents 29 of Bill Cosby's alleged assault victims and spoke about the criminal charges being leveled at the 78-year-old.
Seeing him criminally charged and having to face a trial is the best Christmas present that they have ever received.
One of the issues already addressed during the press conference in Los Angeles was the statute of limitations.
Very proud of the courage of my client Judy Huth and all of my clients who have chosen to speak out in the court of public opinion and who are seeking to eliminate the statute of limitations or lengthen it in their states.
Cosby was charged Wednesday with 3 counts of aggravated indecent assault, a second-degree felony that could carry a sentence of 5 to 10 years in prison.
Fox News' Michelle Polino. Drugs found in the system of the woman who mowed people down on the Las Vegas Strip. Fox News Radio's Jessica Rosenthal joins us live.
And the Clark County District Attorney says Lakeisha Holloway's toxicology test came back positive for active marijuana and marijuana metabolites, or the non-active byproduct of the drug. And according to Nevada law, both numbers were above the legal driving limit, though her defense attorney says it was low enough it would not have impaired her. Holloway, who's from Portland, Oregon, is accused of intentionally driving her car onto the Vegas Strip multiple times and driving over people. She's been charged with 1 count of murder, 1 count of child abuse, her 3-year-old was with her at the time, and 1 count of leaving the scene of an accident. The DA said right now the drug results are not changing the initial charges filed. Kathleen.
Thanks, Jessica. Well, stocks gave back some of yesterday's gains. The Dow sliding 117 points, NASDAQ falling 42, S&P losing 15. The price of oil dipping under $37 a barrel. And New Year's Eve fireworks canceled in Brussels after threats of a terror attack. You're listening to Fox News Radio, fair and balanced. Changes coming to the Chicago PD.
Mayor Rahm Emanuel promises complete and total reform of the law enforcement system and the policing culture in Chicago. He says just because officers can use deadly force doesn't mean they should.
Helping officers have that distinction in the training that goes with it is essential.
One specific reform, Emanuel says the city is doubling the number of tasers available to officers on the street as a substitute for guns. He says the goal is a taser in every police vehicle with an officer who knows how to use it. Steve Taylor, Fox News.
The affluenza teen and his mom not coming back to the U.S. right now. They filed a form of protection under the Mexican government.
We've seen these things happen as quickly as 2 weeks to 2 months. And it depends on the court system down there. And it also depends on the fact that the Couches have legal counsel And it seems to me that if they wanted to, they could pay them as much money as they want to drag this thing out as long as they want to.
Chief Deputy U.S. Marshal in Texas Richard Hunter, Ethan Couch, and his mom fled from the U.S. while he was on probation for killing 4 people while driving drunk. Iran accused of conducting a dangerous rocket test near U.S. warships.
As a Navy aircraft carrier sailed through the Strait of Hormuz last week, senior defense officials say Iranian rockets passed by within 1,500 yards of the ship as part of an exercise a U.S. Central Command spokesman calls highly provocative, unsafe, and inconsistent with international law. The U.S. Navy says an Iranian vessel fired several unguided rockets after giving just 23 minutes notice of the live fire exercise. Since this summer's nuclear deal, Iran has also tested missiles, another move criticized by U.S. officials. There's been no official comment from Iran. In Washington, Jared Halpern, Fox News.
The New Year's Eve celebration starting to build in Times Square as the famous ball passes a test run today. I'm Kathleen Maloney, Fox News Radio.
Hey everybody, this is Joel Sturgis, and did you know that After Hours AM and America's Most Haunted have a great new website out there? You're going to want to visit America's-Most-Haunted.com. There you can get all the new content from all the writers for America's Most Haunted, as well as the great haunted headlines everybody loves each and every week, as well as catch After Hours AM live right there, along with podcasts, past shows, and get to know your hosts, as well as contact us all in one stop. You're going to love it. You're not going to want to go anywhere else. So come to America's-Most-Haunted.com today.
And After Hours AM coming right back at you with your host, Joel Sturgis.
And Eric Olson.
Eric, man, is the end of another year. And we last broadcast 2015. Man, do you have any New Year's resolutions? Are you a believer in them, first off?
Well, sure. I mean, it's a natural time. It's a time when people from time immemorial, going back to the prehistorical era, thousands of years, people have used the turning of the new year. And, of course, it's very directly tied into the solstice is
Sure.
Probably what in the very ancient times what people were attuned to before they had literal calendars, because it's so close. It's within a week of what we call New Year's Day. So that's a natural time. It's the winding down. It's the conclusion of the 4th season of the year. It's the quiet time. It's the least light. It's the darkest. It's the coldest. It's all that stuff. So it's a natural time to take stock and to ponder the events of the previous year and to think about successes and failures and, of course, to plan ahead for the new year. And it's certainly within human nature to want to improve, to be hopeful, to see the future as something to look forward to. So that's where your resolution might fit in.
Okay, well, do you have one?
My resolution this year, I would really like to continue what I talked about earlier. I would like to really focus on and live every day individually because, from a purely practical standpoint, that's how you get the most done, right?
True.
If you don't waste a bunch of time planning what you're going to be doing and thinking ahead and worrying about the future. Now, that doesn't mean you shouldn't plan anything. Of course you should. Planning is important. You need to financially, obviously, set things aside and be ready for what comes down the road, although, boy, do I suck at that. But back to the living aspect, the actual life, the essence, the substance of our lives. I want to appreciate every day. I don't want to worry about the weather and say things like, well, tomorrow will be better, a week from now it'll be better. Oh, I can't wait for spring. Oh, I can't wait for
So you don't want to
summer
look forward, is what you're saying, is you do not want to look forward. You want to enjoy the day for the day. And that's really what you're saying, is live for today.
I want to focus on each day because that slows down the progress of time. And as you grow older, time naturally, inevitably, speeds up. Think
Why
about
is
it. When you're a
that?
tiny, teeny, tiny little kid, think how long a year is. for the first year of your life, that's 100% of your life.
Yeah, exactly. No, you're absolutely correct. I mean, you know, you're right. As I'm now in my 40s, and it seems like my life is becoming a blur right in front of me. Everything that's going on. And as far as resolutions go, I got a big one. I want to pick up my guitar again, get better at that, because I put that down for a while because of everything else in my life going on. I want to better myself, eat better, health-wise be much better. You know, take more account for my own health because I have been neglecting my own health. Kind of burning the candle both ends kind of guy. So that is going to end. That's my New Year's resolution, and just easy ones, really. Ones that are sensible, but some people go all out for New Year's resolutions, and I'm not one of those people. I mean, obviously, you always see the normal: quit drinking, quit smoking, do this more, do that less. Everyone wants to lose weight, but, you know, only about 8% of us actually live up to our New Year's resolution.
Is that what the number is? That's
what they say.
Interesting.
About 8% of us actually follow through with our New Year's resolutions, because the problem is we tackle too many of them.
And what is the average time span? I've heard it's about a month.
Yeah,
Is it even that long?
Yeah, it's well, for the smoking it's about a month. For the losing weight, it's about 3 months on average. The person will actually dedicate themselves to working out, you know. And working out's always great when you begin, you know, because you're all full of fire. But then, you know, you look at that old treadmill and go, "You son of a, you know what? I'm sick of you." And then it becomes a coat hanger. Before
These are a few of these areas are ones that I have actually succeeded in,
Mm-hmm.
and so I think the key to all these kinds of things is to form good habits.
Mm-hmm.
And don't worry about the results. Worry about the behavior. Worry about the habit. In other words, I work out 4 days a week. I have had this routine for a very, very long time. It's not the same routine I had even in my 40s. It is certainly not the routine I had in my 30s or 20s, where I was pretty freaking fanatical about weightlifting. And,
sure. Were you a bodybuilder at one time, Eric?
Not in the results sense.
Okay.
Because I have always been so painfully thin.
Yeah.
I'm a very, very, very much an ectomorph, and probably my natural weight, if you can believe this, I am probably my unworked out body. If I had not been lifting weights for the last 40 years, which I have, 40 years of lifting weights, I would weigh in the neighborhood of 155 pounds.
Oh my God, that's tiny.
And 6'1", 150.
Wow, you'd be a stick figure.
As it is, I'm 6'1", more like 180.
Yeah.
But if you think about it, 25 pounds of muscle in 40 years is nothing to brag about.
Well, hey, you're healthy. That's what matters.
So I've certainly never looked like a quote-unquote bodybuilder, but, I've been in pretty good shape.
You mean no one ever stopped being and say, "Hey, that's Arnold Schwarzenegger"?
No,
over there.
they never did.
No, not one
probably
time.
my absolute peak would have been maybe early 30s, maybe. I was, really fanatical for a while, even used some supplements.
I was going to say, did you, do the protein shakes?
I
do
did.
the raw egg, like the Rocky?
I did. I tried various things. I did not. I've never used steroids. But other than that, I used some of the other, tried some other supplements. Didn't really seem to make all that much difference.
I
so
think...
back to the just to finish the thought. And excuse me for interrupting. So the bottom line with resolutions, the only way to succeed is for them simply to become habits, forming new habits. I don't even think about working out. It doesn't even enter my mind.
Yeah.
I just go do it.
It's when you start overthinking it is when it becomes
you have
a problem.
to think about it. As soon as you start thinking about it, you talk yourself out of it.
Yep, exactly.
I'm tired. I don't feel that well. I got other things I should be doing, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera.
Don't think, do kind of thing.
Don't think, do. Just have a set time and set day.
Oddly, that's what Bill Cosby said, too.
And then just do it. The other thing I don't want to do, I don't want to quit drinking. I just want to be sensible.
Yeah, exactly. Hey, you know what? I don't drink very often. And the main reason is because the next morning is the main reason. Because then I feel like hell.
That just gets worse and worse over time.
Excuse me, folks. I didn't hit the cough button quick enough over there. But no, the thing of it is as I get older, I cannot drink like I used to.
I'm not even remotely close. I was a DJ. I was a live DJ, right? So I'm DJing clubs. I'm DJing parties of every kind in my 20s and into my 30s. And I mean, and on and off after that, too. But for a living in my most of my 20s and a lot of my 30s, I was a DJ. And especially in my 20s, I mean, for my size, I could drink an unlimited amount.
Wow.
I mean, it's bizarre.
Man, you could
drink all night. Because part of, and again, this is habits. A lot of what I did while I was DJing is I jumped around. I danced around. I was Eric the Dancing DJ. Plus, then I'm hauling all the equipment. I was my own roadie, always. Hauling all my equipment in, hauling all my equipment out. I'll tell you, man, that will sober you up.
Oh, it will. Oh,
getting all that
absolutely.
exercise. But yeah, over time, I mean, I'm to the point now, I absolutely can feel it, especially if I'm not quite on right, and if I haven't eaten enough or eaten at the right time, I will feel it the next morning with as few as 2 beers. That's how bad.
That's
how bad it is.
No, but exactly. I mean, I don't drink very often, but when I do, it's I like the hard liquor kind of. I'm a hard liquor kind of guy.
Oh, yeah.
Give me a vodka, I mean, stuff like that. But anyhow, the reason why I bring up we have some people that are weighing in on this, and a lot of, on the old Facebook over here, a lot of it's quitting smoking, which I commend anyone that's going to quit smoking.
Oh, yeah.
One of them is at least have sex once. Hey, sorry, dude, if that's all you're shooting for is one time, you might want to shoot higher.
But that's a good start.
It's a damn good start. Don't get me wrong. You got to start somewhere. Love deeper, take care of each other more, value the things that I already own rather than looking to buy more things or to own more things.
That's a good one.
Enjoy my family more as I grow older. A lot of really good resolutions, a lot of self-help.
Every one of those is good.
Self-help resolutions. One of them is to track down ISIS and eradicate them. Which, hey, lofty goal, man. Hey, you know what? But
more power.
More power. If you think you can go do that, go do so. But I don't know. Resolutions to me are a waste of time. Like you said, you got to make it into a lifestyle habit rather than just a one night. You know what? I might be drunk, but I mean this. You got to make it part of you. Like my guitar playing. When I kind of got, I thought to myself, too busy to learn how to play the guitar. And then I realized the other day, it was not playing the guitar. It was like an escape for me. Exactly. Something to get my mind off of everything else. Is almost like my meditation.
We were talking about my band, the Props, earlier. And for the last 4 years, and I had started, I'd been playing again after a very long break for a couple years before the band started, but certainly for the last 4 years, playing music and having that outlet is, whether it's public or not, it just doesn't matter at all. If you can add a public aspect to it, if you're good enough to play in public, then that's fantastic, because then that you're adding the performance aspect to it as well.
Sure.
But even if you don't have it, if no other human being ever hears you play, it is such a amazing outlet, and you really do get in touch with something that is bigger than yourself.
Exactly.
You feel it flowing through you. Plus, it's fantastic exercise. It's eye-hand coordination. It's dexterity, and it really is. Music is a mathematical way of thinking.
It is. Hey, I'm no guitar master by any stretch of the imagination, but I enjoy it. Even though I'm bad at it, I'm not that good at it. I mean, my God, the first time I played,
you're new at it.
No, I am new at it, and
you can't think in terms of good or bad.
Thing
You're
of it
new.
is it's like anything else. If you give up on it too quick, you don't get anything out of it. But I guess all these people, these resolutions, I commend everybody for having a resolution. And I particularly don't believe in resolutions like I was getting to. I believe it's lifestyle changes that are the most impactful. But as far as that goes, I think that this coming year, we're going to see a lot of changes in the way that we, hopefully, that we look at each other, because we're going to be having a new president this coming year.
That's right.
Hopefully that will change things for the good, not the bad, which unfortunately, has not been historically the way it's gone.
we've been dealing, a lot of people would say, with the same old Washington. And I hopefully in 2016 we can get along, the races can get along better. I'm hoping that we will no longer have to have a Black Lives Matter or White Lives Matter or whatever matters movement, that we all can just be together.
I would certainly agree with those thoughts and assessments.
And I know it's grandiose or whatever thinking on my end, but my gosh, man, this has got to be, for me anyway, the most turbulent year I got to say that I can recollect as far as the violence, the level of violence lately.
Well, and it's local, it's national, it's worldwide. We are in a particularly, it seems to be anyway, a particularly violent time. Now, we've talked about this before, and I should add that from a purely statistical standpoint, if you look at the whole world, we live in the most peaceful time in the history of the world.
Oh, I believe it. I mean, come on. If we were
in terms of percentage,
yeah.
right?
If we were to go in a
I
time
mean, all
machine.
the villages used to always fight each other. Oh, let's go over and raid and kill some of them.
Yeah.
I mean, let's face it. That is the history of mankind. So we really are. At least we have the ideals at this point of peacefulness and coexistence, and at least we all, or most of us, ISIS doesn't. At least all or most of us give lip service to respecting the values of others and the beliefs of others, and in living together, peaceful coexistence.
Yeah, I mean, we had this discussion before and on the show, and it's like you and I agreed that if you were to build a time machine and go way back when the guillotine was in vogue, that would be a level of violence that'd shock us.
Absolutely. And interpersonal violence. It's not that long ago that disputes were settled with duels.
Yes.
Of one kind or another.
Yes.
People used to be a lot more prone to violence than they are now. In general now. We're talking in very broad generalities. So that's good. So I see the overall arc of history as being positive. But we do happen to be in a moment, kind of a trough. And I think part of it is, again, as we've also discussed in the past, maximum awareness because of the selfie culture, because of everyone, seemingly, on Earth, having a cell phone with video and image capability and having it at the ready and people used to using them. We are seeing such a quantum leaps in visibility of human existence right now.
It's funny that you're to bring
enormous.
It's funny that you to bring up the cell phone, because Chris over here emailed me and he was saying that he believes that the smartphone, and he works for one of the big technology giants, will actually start being embedded into our bodies in 2016 via chip.
Well, that seems quick. I mean, maybe on a very, very experimental basis.
Where we're going to start to play with actual cybernetics, making the phone not just something we hold, but something that's in us.
I think a much more soon and much more widespread application will be wearables. We'll be wearing our phones.
Oh, yeah.
Wearing our computers.
Yeah.
That really is right around the corner. I mean, it already exists, Google Glass and on. But I think that's something that will become much more widespread.
But technology is further dehumanizing us.
Well, technology always has the capability of dehumanizing us, you see. Going back to reading, the invention of the printing press, in a sense, dehumanizes, because prior to that, prior to reading, the invention of reading, or at least the widespread use of reading, people had to communicate directly, verbally, person to person. You couldn't write it down. You had to communicate. You had to tell the story. You couldn't write the story down.
And then, of course, moving on here, because I do have quite a few emails of predictions. This one I don't like so much. This one comes from Danny, and he believes that we will see nuclear war this year between the United States and Russia.
Oh, I don't.
He believes in his email that they will be they will detonate a nuclear warhead above our atmosphere
cause a EMP blast that will take out all of our technology?
Well, the EMP blast is a very, very interesting and I agree, potentially very dangerous phenomena. But I don't think you would use a nuclear warhead.
I would sure hope
in
not.
order to do that. I mean, just think about the Matrix. All right, so the EMP blasts. I mean, that's coming from I would think a very specific kind of super highly concentrated generated form of energy. I don't think you would need to go the route of a nuclear blast, which has so many other side effects, like, destroying the planet.
Yeah.
So if you wanted an EMP blast, I mean, my goodness, think of all the damage that would cause.
Yeah.
I think that is a real potential danger. I don't think it's necessarily a super large scale danger, but I think it is a relatively small scale danger. Absolutely. If you can take out power plants and you can take out infrastructure, I mean, you're wiping out, at least temporarily, civilization.
Well,
I mean,
it's funny because I have another email that's similar to that, except Richard believes it will be a solar flare that will take out civilization as far as electronics go in 2016. My gosh, doom and gloom, people. Doom and gloom.
Well, that is a very real possibility. Solar flares, they're finally starting to really pay attention to them now because they can.
Yeah.
And they're seeing that, yes, there's actually a very wide range between, your typical quote unquote solar flare, which can and does interrupt some electronic communication, to those that could literally cause us, actual physical damage, and that those do happen. They don't happen often, but they have certainly happened in the history of the Earth.
Here's one right up your alley, though. Okay. Here's one. Shannon believes Donald Trump will become president and he will repeal Obamacare.
Well, number one, I'm sticking with my story that I've been spouting all along since all of this began with the Donald. And no, he will not only not be elected, but I still don't think he'll get the nomination.
No, I don't believe he will. But that's interesting that Obamacare is in there. I mean, I know a lot of folks are looking for that to be repealed. I understand that. But it is law at the moment, and along with some other repealing of laws that I don't agree with. Some of them are saying that they will repeal the Same-Sex Marriage Act. I do not believe that will happen in 2016, nor should it happen.
No, it wasn't an act. It was a declaration by the Supreme Court.
Yeah, exactly. It's law. I mean, it
says the Supreme Court said very simply, it is a denial of protected individual rights to prevent people on the basis of sexual orientation from getting married.
Yep.
So I don't see that changing. No.
And should it change? No, it should not change.
I don't think
the way
so
it
either.
is.
All right, but let's back up one, because I want to hear, because this bewilders me. Please explain to me why people want Obamacare repealed.
Because Obamacare, in a lot of people's opinion, has been a train wreck. Has it helped anyone? Like for instance, when my dad was dying of cancer, Obamacare came in and his healthcare premium went from $150 to $500 a month because of Obamacare. It's helped some, but it's hurt others. It's primarily hurt the people that have money, and it's helped the people that don't have money. And I know that's exactly why it was created, to be, universal, get everyone covered and this and that. But it's kind of like that double-edged sword. I mean, you can't please everybody, but the ones that it really impacted were the most vulnerable. I mean, in their opinion.
Right. Exactly. But isn't healthcare a pay me now or pay me later situation? There's no such thing as a free lunch.
No, there is no such thing as a free lunch. And there's another email here predicting that we will have universal health care. Universal health care, folks, is not the answer to our problem. If you met anybody that came from a country with universal health care, you wouldn't want it. You would not want to wait a year to see your doctor, would you?
No.
And that's what has happened in countries like Canada. I live next to Canada, and I meet a lot of Canadians. I've talked to them about real universal health care. Their biggest complaint is waiting 2 years to see a doctor or waiting 2 years to have a surgery that you need.
I don't think you're having to wait for emergency services, but you do have to wait for elective services. My son, the archaeologist, my oldest son, and his wife live in Denmark, and they have universal health care. And I've talked to them about it. They love the fact that, A, they don't have to pay for it.
Well, that's true.
That's a pretty damn good thing. B, they do have access more or less immediately to any sort of emergency needs. They have said that there are downsides in that it's difficult, or it's more difficult to ensure a minimum standard of care. It's hard. It's the care, though universal, may not be as good across the board. Because here's why. It's not as valued as much.
No.
Think about it. We pay doctors a lot.
We do. We have the best health care in the world.
Value the care.
I mean, some would say we have the best health care in the world right here in the good old USA.
Others would say we have among the worst. So
yeah,
a lot
it all
of
depends.
It really depends on your perspective.
There's
but no question about that.
Do I believe that Obamacare will be repealed? No, I do not. I do not see it going anywhere anytime soon, and a lot of it is pie in the sky thinking that the great white Donald Trump, the great white hope is, what some people have been calling him. He cannot come in and fix anything. In my opinion, and I think that I hate talking politics, I really do. But being that it was brought up, and I know we're running late for the break, but we gotta really, before we act, we should really think. Before we throw out just random, we're gonna repeal Obamacare, we should really think first. Before you think Donald Trump is going to be the end-all and be-all, which a lot of people are hoping he will be, it's just not possible. I believe that it's got to be balance, man. Balance is what we got to look for.
A country is not a corporation.
No, it is not. We need balance. We need to understand that we're a country of people. We're not dollars and cents. And that being said, we got to run a break. But man, it's 2015, man, had its downside and its upside. We'll cover all that. We come right back. Who we lost in 2015. Don't go anywhere. Be right back right after this.
It's Thursday night, and you're grabbing drinks with some friends. Started off with a pitcher for the table, which quickly becomes two. There's pool. And there's the photo booth.
All right, everybody squeeze in. Say cheese!
Followed naturally by an order of wings. And another.
Can we get some extra ranch sauce?
Then there's the ceremonial nightcap.
So what are we doing this weekend?
And lastly, it's back to the car, which, if you're buzzed, could be the most expensive night of your life. Getting pulled over for buzzed driving could cost you around $10,000 in fines, legal fees, and increased insurance rates. Nothing kills a buzz like getting pulled over for buzzed driving, because buzzed driving is drunk driving. Brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
Taking a family of 5 to the amusement park can cost a small fortune.
Oh, yeah. So to save some money, we thought, hey, let's bring the amusement park to us.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
All right. Step right up, young man. Are you ready to ride the Wacky Waterfall?
That's just the bathtub with the shower head running.
Nope, it's the Wacky Waterfall.
It's the shower, Dad.
Waterfall.
Wacky.
There's an easier way to save.
To get a free rate quote, go to geico.com. Then buy online, over the phone, or at your local Geico office.
Hey everybody, this is Joel Sturgis, and did you know that After Hours AM and America's Most Haunted have a great new website out there? You're going to want to visit America's-Most-Haunted.com. There you can get all the new content from all the writers for America's Most Haunted, as well as the great haunted headlines everybody loves each and every week, as well as catch After Hours AM live right there, along with podcasts, past shows, and get to know your hosts, as well as contact us all in one stop. You're going to love it. You're not going to want to go anywhere else. So come to America's-Most-Haunted.com today.
You've seen all kinds of movies, but you've never seen anything like the Rocky Horror Picture Show.
They're probably foreigners with ways different than our own.
I'm just a sweet transvestite.
See the Rocky Horror Picture Show. A different set of Jaws. Rated R.
Do you have a question for our guest tonight? Don't feel like calling the show? Not a problem. Email those questions to afterhoursam@gmail.com. Again, that's afterhoursam@gmail.com.
And welcome back to After Hours AM. I'm your host, Joel Sturgis. Right along with me,
Eric Olson.
Eric, man, we had a lot of deaths also during 2015 that were notable. I mean, look
Very
at the
sad,
list. Yeah, wow, we had, geez, where would you like to begin? There's so many. The one that nailed me the hardest because I was a fan of baseball as a kid was Yogi Berra.
Yep.
You know,
yep, that's a huge one.
You know, he died, and you know, he was 90 though. I mean, it wasn't like he was a young person, but it was kind of tough, you know, to hear that he'd passed. You know, and then I think then after him, I would have to say Wes Craven when he passed. It was pretty shocking because I really was a fan of a lot of his work.
Yeah. You know, he's many people's favorite horror director, especially if they don't consider Hitchcock a true horror director. He's many people's, you know, absolute favorite.
Oh,
There's
yeah.
No question about it.
Yeah, and then Frank Gifford, he died, NFL guy, you know.
Well, not just NFL, but
yeah,
you know, major entertainer as well. And announcer, my goodness, original Monday Night Football, right?
Yeah, he passed away, and the one that shocked me the most was actually, I know it's kind of so odd, but the Roddy Piper died, the wrestler, and I would have thought that, you know, he wouldn't have died so young at 61 years old.
Wrestling, even professional wrestling, is a tough life.
You know, it's got to take it out on you. I mean, as you age,
on the one hand, it's quote unquote fake, but the damage and the you know, there's concussions. I mean, the damage is real. The movie The Wrestler, I think, made an excellent point. You know, it might have been exaggerated.
Yeah,
but it really made an excellent point. Just because the outcome is preordained.
Yep.
You know.
Yeah, I mean, just the way they pound on each other.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
It's a dangerous
It's got to be. It just has to be, you know, just horrible on your body. But, you know, we also had, like, really young people passed away, like Bobby Christina Brown. I mean, how young? She was only 22.
Extremely sad. Yeah, it's a tragic family.
You know, and that poor girl, you know, her mom dies and she dies and it's like you said, it's just a tragic tale. I mean, you know, did you ever know who this girl was before she was in trouble?
I knew who she was because, you know, especially my wife, we've covered the celebrity world kind of the whole time we've been on the internet, especially my wife did. And so the poor girl was kind of damaged early on. You know, her parents were just nuts.
Yeah.
And not stable, unfortunately.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
So the poor girl, I was surprised how well relatively she had turned out.
Yeah. Yeah, I was too.
Made it to adulthood.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, I was too. And then, of course, sticking with music, Percy Sledge
If you're
died.
a small business owner,
hold on.
paying people has
This
never
website,
been...
gotta love these websites that have these random pop-ups out of nowhere. You know, you're using it for info, and the next thing you know, you get the the advertisement. But Percy Sledge died.
Absolutely love Percy Sledge. Most people really kind of only know When a Man Loves a Woman.
Yep.
But he had many. He was a really soulful, beautiful Southern soul singer, and he had a lot of other. One I remember is "Warm and Tender Love." It's another ballad. It's really beautiful. So I mean, it really kind of. I mean, he was certainly recognized, when it happened, but he may not have even gotten the attention that he truly deserved.
No.
How about this for huge in the music world? B.B. King.
That was huge. I was just about to say that. And when B.B. King died, we actually talked to a couple of people on the air, of course, that knew him personally.
That's right.
What a class act he was inside and out of music.
He was. And beloved, just an utterly beloved
Yeah, I mean,
figure.
you could hear the emotion in their voice when we had him on. And people that performed with him and knew him real well. And that's just too bad. I mean, we lost, I don't want to say too soon because he was older, but, we lost a talent that will probably never be replicated.
No, he is the most famous, most popular, and most successful blues artist in history.
Oh, yeah. Oh, by far.
By far.
I mean, everybody knew who B.B. King was, and if you knew who B.B. King was, you knew who Lucille was, too, his guitar.
Absolutely. Hey, you mentioned baseball. We also, Ernie Banks.
Yeah.
I mean, he's as towering a figure as Yogi Berra.
Yeah. And another one that got me when he died was Stuart Scott from ESPN. Only 49 years old, and he fought cancer, and we all watched it go down in real time.
Right.
And that was really heartbreaking because, his last speech was, cancer may take me, but won't take my spirit.
It was classic.
That was really it was
an all-time speech.
Yeah,
it really
was. It was really tough to watch.
In basketball, Moses Malone, he wasn't old.
Yeah,
and Meadowlark Lemon, he was old.
Meadowlark
Lemon just in the last couple days.
Yeah, he had some miles on him though. He was an older athlete, but we lost so many. It's like Donna Douglas we lost at age 81. For anyone that doesn't know who that is, if you ever watch Beverly Hillbillies, that was Emma May. Or Emmy May, rather.
Ellie Mae.
Ellie Mae, sorry about that. I'll wrap my mind around it.
She was also in one of the all-time favorite Twilight Zone episodes.
She was a fox back in the day, too.
Oh, my God. She was hotter
cute,
than snot.
Oh, yeah. She was cute back in the day.
Super.
Hello. But, yeah.
Ornette Coleman in jazz.
Yep.
Great innovators. Phil Woods, a little bit lesser known. Leslie Gore, It's My Party, talking about music. It really has been kind of an amazing year. And you know who we haven't even mentioned yet?
Who's that?
Leonard Nimoy.
No, I know. I just put Spock, man. That was a tough day for both of us.
It was.
Come on, I really liked Leonard Nimoy. Not only from a Star Trek work, but my first paranormal TV show that I used to watch on a regular basis was In Search Of.
Of course.
And I had fond memories of sitting there with my dad years ago when it was still on TV, on regular run, watching the show, and it was just the coolest thing ever. And it's too bad he's gone. It really is. I mean, I couldn't believe it when he passed.
Well, he was almost as influential for that show as for Star Trek.
Yeah, he was. And some people would say he was even more influential because
it lasted so much longer.
It did. And then Cynthia Lennon died, the first wife of John Lennon. She died at age 75. And one theme that I'm seeing in this whole thing, a lot of cancer.
It is still kind of what gets otherwise healthy people. You know,
a lot of cancer deaths this year too, and that's another thing that really hits home to everybody is cancer. And you're right, it will strike down the healthiest person. It's unreal.
I mean, I remember way back when I was a kid, and actually both of my grandfathers died of cancer, but one when I was only, I think, 18 months, not even 2 years old, so I didn't really know him. But my mother's father died when I was 11. So, I mean, I was of cancer, lung cancer. I was right in the middle of it, and it was just a horrifying. I mean, it scarred me to this day going through that experience and seeing him lose all that weight.
Yeah.
and just kind of wasting away. And at that time, I'm talking the 60s, the late 60s now, very late 60s, actually, it was 69. All the talk was about the breakthroughs that had already been made and that were forthcoming, and that cancer would be wiped out within 10 or certainly 20 years. Well, here we are,
2015,
almost
2016.
more than 40 years later, over 40 years later, and obviously it still has not been wiped out. Now, it's been mitigated, and there are many forms that are treatable, and all of the statistics are better.
Yeah.
The life expectancy is much longer than it was. But, it certainly has not yet been cured.
No, it hasn't. And some people would say that it's really because it's a business too. I mean, if we were to cure cancer tomorrow, think of the billions of dollars that would be lost. I mean, that's a cynic saying that.
Man, I hope none of that's true.
Yeah, I mean, and that's a cynic saying that. Me, I hopefully one day it's we'll be talking about it like we do the plague, the bubonic plague.
I think the economic gains to a cure would so outweigh the economic loss.
I would think so. I would think so.
I mean,
but
come on. People would think of what people would pay for that.
Yeah, well, exactly. But some of your headlines from 2015, we only have 15 minutes left. Of the show. Black Crowes disband, Taylor Swift hacked, Suge Knight arrested for murder. All these things happened in 2015, along with David Letterman's last show. He did that. Bruce Jenner goes public on his sexuality. Bruce Jenner becomes Caitlyn Jenner.
Unbelievable. That still just amazes me.
Yeah, that whole story.
Because of who he is.
Yeah.
Olympic freaking hero.
Yes.
The greatest athlete in the world. Not just any sport. Decathlon.
Yes.
The greatest athlete in the world.
What did you think of that whole thing? Because you watched him. Now, I wasn't born until 74. So he was a bit out of my league as far as remembering him real well. I mean,
he was
as far
a
as
hero.
Time,
he was handsome. He was charismatic. He was a tremendous athlete. To go from that to where he is now, I mean, sure, I understand you are what you are. And ultimately, you can only be what you are. And if this is really, really, really what he is and what he thinks he needs to be, fine.
Okay, but he's not.
There's a lot of exploitation.
He's not a girl until they chop it off. All right,
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying? Until it's sitting on the cutting room floor, he's still a dude.
Has he gone that far?
No, not yet. Nope.
See, I didn't know.
Nope. And
He's not had the final operation.
No, he has not. So
Okay. Well, I did not know.
I'm wondering if it's, and this is again the cynic in me. I wonder if it's just not for ratings and television.
I don't think it's just for that, but that could certainly be a factor. I mean, he's certainly hasn't been above exploiting it. Let's face it.
Well, yeah, he's everywhere
for economic gain.
Hell, he was named Woman of the Year.
I know, isn't that just?
I mean, come on.
And as a result of this visibility, oh my God, the transgender just phenomena has seemed to explode.
Well, yeah, they grabbed him as their poster child. Hey, look at us.
It's everywhere. I had no clue there were that many transgender people out there.
Yeah.
I mean,
And
where do they all come from?
Exactly. I didn't even realize there was that many.
I'd like to know what percentage of the population we're talking about. It seems like it's way higher than I thought it was an extremely rare thing. It is apparently and clearly not.
No,
extremely
evidently
rare.
it's pretty, I
mean, is it what? Is it 0.1%? Is it
Yeah.
0.1%? I don't know.
No.
But it adds up to a lot of people.
Are these just simply confused people? I mean, they're confused about themselves.
Well,
really?
I think there is a biological basis. I think there are clearly people who are born of indeterminate, internally anyway, sex,
Yes.
or gender, and the visible presentation manifestation does not match what's going on inside. I think that clearly happens. I think there's a whole other subset that they're just maybe just very, very confused.
Sure, absolutely, I believe that too. But 2015 also saw technology headlines like
Facebook adds Amber Alert. Google ends eyeglassware, which probably was a good idea. Radio, for the first time ever, online radio overtakes terrestrial in listenership.
Wow. That seems amazing.
Computer maker Lenovo caught adding spyware to its computers. I remember that. Intel's new stick-sized computer is here. Apple Watches are here. FCC reclassifies internet and telecommunication services, meaning that sooner rather than later, we will all be, if you are an online radio station, FCC will soon be in your pockets too.
You will be regulated.
You will be regulated. That is moving that way. In fact, I just read a great big long basically memorandum going out to every radio station out there that the internet will, by 2018, be regulated just as much as FCC as over there.
Wow.
That it will have to be.
That doesn't seem far off at all.
It doesn't seem. Okay, now, here's the problem that they're going to have, the FCC. How can you tell a guy that's sitting in Belgium that he has to go by your rules? See what I'm saying? He's
Global
not. Exactly. Okay, now, if you're sitting in Belgium broadcasting and I'm listening to you here in the States, how the hell are they going to enforce that?
Well, I don't think they can.
Yeah, exactly. So, I mean, it's unenforceable. It's got no teeth to it because they didn't have any kind of what we're going to do if you break the rules at all. No more selfie sticks at Disneyland, by the way. 2015 headline.
Thank goodness.
Thank God. Windows 10 comes out. Amazon fake review scam exposed. 8K television is here. Cyber Monday breaks all sales records. And hoverboard batteries overheating and killing people. That was your 2015 technology.
Thank goodness
headlines.
We got through that. Hey, you know what? Just backing up for a moment, we left off one really key obituary for our area of coverage, for our paranormal / horror-based world. Christopher Lee.
Yes, we did, didn't we?
The Hammer Dracula, and of course many other things.
And we also
Lord of the Rings.
Didn't bring it up either about the Constantinos yet.
Yeah, wow. That's a story we covered very deeply, and there was talk of even pursuing a book, but it was just too soon. No one really wanted to talk, which you can't blame them.
No,
people just don't. It was too shocking. It was too violent, and we covered the story. We talked to people who were involved from the media of the actual coverage, and the sad side of it is that kind of violence. Interspousal, spouse-on-spouse violence. Yeah, it's just not unusual at all.
Well, that's just it. I mean, since we did the show, it's been coming more and more to light that this is a real issue in this country, and it has been for many years. But if you are in an abusive relationship, go talk to somebody. I mean, before it gets to that point.
Keep it to yourself.
Yeah, go to the local law enforcement, tell a friend, do something, whatever you need to do to get yourself out of that situation. Make that your resolution for 2016. If you're caught in that situation, to get out.
Because these things do not tend to be static.
No.
Either they're resolved, quote unquote, through whatever method, interpersonal, through conferencing, through whatever it takes.
Yep.
They're either resolved and more or less go away, family violence, or it escalates. They do not
generally
stay the same.
It escalates generally speaking, unless something's been done.
Right.
Exactly. Something to head off the
intervene.
Exactly. I know people in my own personal life that have been victims of domestic violence. And they talk about it, what's going on, or you hear about it secondhand. And my first thought is, well, why don't you just leave? Why don't you
it's
just
hard.
leave?
It's a very complicated emotional
get up and go.
situation.
Why are you with this person that's pounding on you? But you're right. It's deeper. Somebody
very complicated.
Yeah, someone that isn't caught in that situation can easily say, well, just go. What's your problem? Just go. In a normal, functioning, healthy relationship. someone that's scared all the time, that has been made to believe that there are no one else going to want them, those kind of things.
And it's their fault.
Exactly.
That they deserve it.
Yeah, and the Constantinos, though, when that went down, you and I had both interviewed them, separately several times on radio programs.
Right.
And they were a rough group. Sure they were. They're unpolished, kind of straight talk, kind of blue collar, paranormal investigators. And I never...
From Jersey.
Yeah, so I never really... Sure, they'd bicker amongst each other, but I just thought that was part of who they were. Passionate people.
Yep.
I did not ever envision that in 2015 I would be, along with you, reporting upon the murder-suicide of them.
No, that certainly would never have occurred to us that was in the cards. But that just shows you there are some signs. The signs certainly do not necessarily, assure that something bad's going to happen.
Yeah.
But what the signs do mean is it has to be addressed.
Yes.
And
yes,
those behaviors have to be addressed, because look what happened. For whatever reason, he spiraled out of control.
Yeah. It was, when we had that show, we were talking to, the reporters and things like that, and the way it went down, it was a simmering situation is what it was. There was problems going on, and then it came to a boil, and we found ourselves where we found ourselves. And it was one of the saddest shows I think I've ever done.
It really was. And when it circled back to, yes, this is shocking. Yes, this is certainly unusual in for public figures. But in the real world, no, this is not unusual.
No,
at all.
it's commonplace.
Unfortunately,
was the message that we might be shocked at the moment, but in the grand scheme of things, it happens all the time.
It happens every day.
Remember the TV reporters that are shot while they're doing that live report?
Oh, yeah.
Do you remember that? Because I'm looking at these headlines, and I remember that they were doing it live on TV.
It's unbelievable, appalling. And again, I'm pleased we have not really gotten very deeply, or even haven't even mentioned tonight the whole gun issue, because it just keeps coming up.
It does,
and we kind of say the same things because the same things remain true. But part of the issue is, it is, in my opinion, it's still too easy for unstable, for damaged people to get a hold of weapons.
Well, but not to go into it too deep, because I know our audience is sick of hearing it, just like we're sick of saying it. But he could have done it with a knife, man. He could have.
It's true.
He could have knifed him. Which would have been more graphic. Can you imagine that, going up there and disemboweling the poor lady?
No, but yes. Yeah, you're right. There's all kinds of weapons out there. It's just you're given certain advantages with guns, though, that don't apply to other weapons.
Yeah. Well, then there's also the biker gang rampage in Waco. Do you remember that story we covered? Remember that?
That's like a bad TV movie.
Yeah, they're over there at the old Sizzler.
Who believe it? Open warfare,
right there in Texas.
Like an episode of Fargo.
Yeah, there they were in Texas, rival biker gangs having to throw down the parking lot. What is it, 1952? Come on. I didn't even realize biker gangs are around anymore.
It's the wild, wild west.
Yeah.
It's just nuts. We still live in a place where, we live in a world where still kind of anything can happen at any time.
Baltimore riots, that happened this year. We saw that come and go.
I will real quick, because I know we're down to the last few minutes. Having brought up the Baltimore riots, there was just another ruling where they declined to prosecute in the Cleveland, Tamir Rice, the 12-year-old.
Yep.
This is the one case of all these notorious cases in the last year, and man, have there been a lot of them. This is the one where I really do have to side with law enforcement, because when you look at the actual facts, The kid had what looked like a real gun.
Yes,
he
he
had
did.
taken off the orange identifier.
Yep.
He was very large. He was a big 12-year-old. He did not look 12 from a distance. Most importantly of all, the information conveyed to the dispatcher that this was a kid and this was almost certainly a fake gun. None of that information was relayed to the officers.
Yep.
So they just had no way of knowing.
Yeah, when they rolled, you see the footage, and he lifts his shirt up to reveal this automatic weapon that they thought he had. They had to act, and do I believe that maybe they should have tasered him rather than shot him? Maybe. I mean, but we weren't there. We weren't there to when somebody shows you a firearm and you are in that position.
And refuses to put it down when told.
Exactly. Had the kid said, hey, you know what? You come get it. I'll put my hands up. You come get the gun. He'd still be here today.
If he had done any one thing that he should have
so
done.
that was really on him.
It really was.
I mean,
Even
he's
though
only
it's
12.
Tragic. No one wants to see the life lost. A 12-year-old, or any age, but a 12-year-old, it's horrifying. It's horrifying for the family. It's horrifying for the city.
Well,
I'm sure it's horrifying to the cops. But nonetheless, I just don't
see.
It certainly doesn't warrant prosecution.
Well, we're at the end of the show. We have about 30 seconds left, and we're going to run a little bit long, so I do apologize to the stations out there. But Eric, has been an honor and a privilege to broadcast with you this
You too,
2015.
Joel.
And we will continue in 2016, guys. Don't go anywhere. We got great guests on tap. Starting as soon as next week, we'll be right back at it. We'll be talking more of the paranormal, talking more of the pop culture. The same stuff you guys love, only better as we move forward. So don't go anywhere. On behalf of myself, Joel Sturgis, and Mr. Eric Olson, we would like to thank you for supporting After Hours AM and making it the success it has been in 2015. Without you, we'd just be talking to ourselves after all. That being said, good night, love each other, and be safe this New Year's Eve and New Year's Day. Thank you for listening to this edition of After Hours AM, and please remember to like us on Facebook and also follow us over on Twitter.